Hello everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Sounds of Her Love. I completely forgot where I was at last time, so... Oh yeah, we're on our way to her house. That's what we were doing. Darkness fills the path towards Carrie's house. Spare the street lamps which guide my course towards it. A long and winding one, in a metaphorical sense, that is. This week has provided me with countless ups, but I guess it's time to face the downs. Knowing that Carrie is hurting makes me feel bad myself, something which I've told myself over and over. My emotional attachment to her is a big thought. Carrie's street is short, so it's easy enough to find her house. It saves me the time of looking for it in the darkness of the ever-looming night. The adrenaline within me rushes me further towards the door of her house. It's not necessary, but I feel that controlling these emotions would be a bad thing, on top of the difficulty to do so. It's Carrie's feelings I want to prioritize right now. Getting here as soon as possible helps me do that. My knuckles face the wood of the door repeatedly as I eagerly wait for an answer. I can see movement from inside, that of Carrie's father, as soon as he comes to open the door. Good evening, Jaybird. I won't keep you stopped for long. Carrie's room is upstairs and to the right. Keeping things brief, Mr. Earwood gives me the directions to Carrie's room, despite me already knowing them. I don't know how well it would I don't know how well it would sit with him if I told him that I've already been up there, so I just thank him anyway. Thank you. Sparing no time, I rush up the stairs as carefully as I can. Wearing socks and trying to race up there would be really regrettable if I were to slip. Though being too cautious also seems like a bad idea as well. The only thing I should be caring about is Carrie. Oh my god. Well, your fucking life source is Carrie. You breathe Carrie. You eat... Oh, I'm not gonna finish that. I wasn't thinking when I said that. Following the same path I took only days ago. Carrie's bedroom door stands before me, the gateway to a lonely, downcast girl. Knocking on it gently, my heart continues to pound in my chest as I wait for a response. Nothing. Out of instinct, I grasp the doorknob, but despite my best effort, it won't budge. She must have locked it. Oh no. I gently open the door. She's hanged! Oh no! I kind of expected it, but it doesn't change the fact that she's locked herself away from the outside world, even her own father. Slow movements raise my arm once again as I realize what I have to do. For all Carrie's concerned, it could just be her father knocking on the door. Hopefully hearing me as well can show her how concerned we both are. As I tap against the door once more, I make my call out to her. Carrie, it's me. A response. A small yet welcome one.
What are you doing here?
I'm worried about you. Her voice is filled with nervousness. Over the time that we've spent together, I've noticed that she found it easier to speak to me as each day went on. Now, though, she sounds just as she did when I first met her. I came to talk to you. I want you to come to school tomorrow, Carrie. I abruptly managed to stop myself from adding I've missed you, even though it's the absolute truth. Spending time without her was different, even though that's all I knew before. I know you're not feeling good, but knowing you're like this, it makes me sad. I told you we're friends, right? I want to support you.
I'm sorry, I know. You're important to me.
I know. You don't have to apologize. I just wanted to be there for you.
I'm not sure if I'll feel like going. It's complicated.
Only a thin piece of wood separates us as we both stand in silence. A wall between us, between our feelings. Between our feelings! Oh my god. I'm not sure what I should do. I'll be waiting for you tomorrow, Carrie, where we normally meet. Good night, Carrie. On a whim, I turn myself away from her. It's a painful thing to do, but actions speak louder than words. Trying to break into her room wouldn't have done either of us any good, but telling her I'll wait no matter what might let her hear my feelings in a different way. I'm not sure if she responded, though she doesn't come out after me. It's an odd thing for me to do it's an odd thing for me to be so familiarized with her house only after knowing her for a week, but that thought doesn't stick with me on the trip down the stairs. So, how did it go? Her father stands in the hallway, showing that he was waiting for me the entire time. I don't know. We'll just have to see. They are plain and simple words, yet they hurt me so much. Having this uncertainty between us all makes me feel more bitter than anything. It's okay. Carrie is usually quite stubborn. Would you be staying for dinner? I know a meal with a 37-year-old Welsh guy isn't exactly on everyone's bucket list, but it would be impolite for me not to offer. Thank you, but my parents had brought back something for the family just as I was leaving. I'm sure it'll be quite a ruckus when I get back. It's alright. I hope you enjoy your evening, Jaybird. Thank you for speaking to her. It's okay. It was something I wanted to do. I'll be off then. Goodbye. Carrie's father sees me. I feel like Jacksepticeye whenever I do that voice. I'm sorry. just wanted to get my feelings out there. Carrie's father sees me off with a wave as I walk out of the Irwood household. Thinking about it now, his words don't make much sense to me. Describing Carrie as stubborn is definitely a contrast to what I know her as. In fact, I would describe her as pretty compliant. I guess things are different when you're a parent. Maybe it's just how Carrie acts towards me. At least I hope it is. The morning sunlight blinds my eyes on my walk towards school. More importantly, towards my typical rendezvous point with Carrie. As I get closer and closer, I dote upon what Carrie means to me. My relationship with her. It's a strange thing to think about, but as time goes on, things will start to make more sense to me. As the usual corner of the street enters my vision, the shy braided girl isn't there. It would be wrong to say I didn't expect this, but part of me looked forward to seeing her adorable aura shimmer in the sunlight. Looking at my watch, it's still a little early. It's still a bit early. Even if it was late, I would still wait for her. Being late to school doesn't concern me now. Oh my god. Cars pass by me one after another as the neighborhood starts to get into motion. Everyone on their way to work or to drop their kids off at school. It's the usual sort of thing for a weekday. Having mine be different yesterday really showed me how much I enjoyed the mornings before going to school to be able to see her. Oh my god, you're getting creepy. Every day of my life before had been absent of her, of course. But meeting her really showed me how much of a wonderful person she really is. It's a shame it took a while for her to be able to show it to someone. The clock continues to circle around and around my watch, similar to the thoughts in my mind, constantly moving but never really going anywhere. 7:35 soon passes without any sign of Carrie. When agreeing to meet with her, I would have probably embraced the experience of walking down the road around this time to see her waiting for me with a mild smile on her face. One which I can only assume would quickly turn into a fluster as she would spot me approaching. None of that has happened, though. Or will happen. I can't imagine Carrie being that happy to see me. Anxiety grows from within me, flowering from one of the most painful places for it to embed its thorns, my heart. It's been 5 minutes now since the usual time we agreed to meet. Not particularly late by any standard, that is any standard other than Carrie's. Every time we agreed to meet somewhere, despite it only happening on a few occasions, Carrie was always earlier on time, more so the prior. Maybe my words didn't reach her at all. Well, yeah, this is the neutral end after all. Glancing up from my watch one last time within my vision, I see a figure. Despite the morning sunlight hindering my view, it's clear to me that a girl is walking down the street towards me. As she approaches, I can make out her hair, neatly braided, swaying in the light autumn breeze. Trick's on you, it's not actually her! Haha! Her attire, all too familiar to me, consists of a tan sweater which embellishes her figure. The harp insignia on her chest is quickly covered by her arms as she adjusts the red ribbon beneath her neck, blushing slightly as she looks towards me. It's Carrie. Oh, really? The sight brings a smile to my face. It usually would, but this time means a lot more to me than any of those ever could. I managed to reach out to her. She came. Her expression, however, does not match mine. She still carries a troubled expression as she advances further down the street. if one thing is for sure, there's still a lot of work to do before we can make things right. Even if that's even the right word. All the issues, all the problems that caused this situation are still here. Carrie is still upset.
Good morning.
Good morning, Carrie. Part of me wants to ask how she's feeling, in spite of knowing the answer. I'm fine, she'll say. That's all it is. Fine. Fine is just a synonym for not good. A quick... you just tell people that you're fine, but you're not fine, but they just won't get it. Yeah. A quick answer to get people off your case. Carrie knows how concerned I am, but prying into her feelings now would not benefit either of us. Today I want her to feel normal, to experience a day of school like we usually would. Upsetting her by getting into the subject of her parents would just make my efforts all for naught. Instead, I opt to just usher her along with me to begin our day of school. I think we should get going. We're going to be late otherwise.
Okay.
I expected her to apologize for being late, but it doesn't really matter to me. Carrie and I began our slow walk to school, despite having the clock working against us, but we're not in any rush. Aw. Okay. Oh, fuck. I didn't read that. Go back. History. I didn't read that. Oops. All too much of a contrast to the bitter cold of the morning, leaving me... Wait. Dust shimmers in the air sporadically throughout the classroom, giving the day a sense of warmth as the autumn sunlight shines through the windows. All too much of a contrast with the bitter cold of the morning, leaving me with a feeling of unease as the issues with Carrie still linger around my mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to accidentally skip that. Having left her not too long ago to get to class, we separated on a sour note, neither of us really saying anything, but our feelings ever so similar. Ones of sadness, sorrow, and general awkwardness. Getting her to come to school was one thing, but for her to open up to me again will be a completely different challenge. If I'm going to make this day work one way or another, I'll have to force her to talk to me, no matter how inconsiderate that sounds. Moving my body backwards, I stretched to alleviate the pain in my shoulders. Today is going to be long, but I've gotten through the lessons before just thinking about Carrie. Thing is, there's a lot more to think about now, including my feelings. The chimes of the school bell jolt me up from the slumped position of my chair. It's lunchtime, so getting outside as soon as possible is a priority. I want to meet Carrie outside her class for once. Springing up, I grab my bag and swiftly push my items into it in a disordered manner. These are things I have no time to be concerned about. I managed to be one of the first people out of the class, but it's expected that those who sit near the front will always have the upper hand. Carrie's class isn't much of a distance away. It seems that their class is still inside. Everyone in our year group is on the same corridor, so it's unsurprising to find myself joining the usual crowds who wait outside the other classes for their friends to come out. One by one, people flock out of the classroom. The entire event is quite a scene, as it's already been about 5 minutes since the lunch bell rang. Just how important was their lesson? In time, the sight of Carrie greets my eyes once again. She still holds the same expressionless appearance she's had since this morning. It hurts to see. Hey, Carrie, shall we go have lunch together?
Sorry, I need to catch up with some work. I'm going to copy a friend.
What friend? I'm your only friend! What? Excuse me, I'm your only friend. What? I thought I was your only friend. As soon as I opened my mouth, Carrie seemed to go into a state of shock. Her words sound untruthful, as if she forced out the first excuse she could think of. As depressing as it is, the reality is that I'm the only person she speaks to in the school. Yeah, I'm your only friend! Nice try, but we both know you don't have any friends except for me. Like, come on. She wouldn't have the audacity to copy off someone within her class. If she's not ready to speak, that's fine. The entire action itself going back on what I previously decided upon earlier. Forcing her to speak to me would probably send her into another state of shock. I'll let her go for now. Alright, Carrie. I turn around, leaving Carrie behind me as I join the students from her class heading towards the cafeteria. Whether Carrie wanted me to object or not, I'm unsure. However, she won't be able to get away from me this easily. Letting our friendship dissipate like this isn't something I want to allow. This is getting more and more creepy as the more it goes on. I find myself sitting in the cafeteria, clutching a sandwich in my hand. A little earlier, the guy sitting in front of me got into a fight with one of the younger students over who would get the last beef sandwich. I'm not really sure why these things are so popular. You enjoying that sandwich? You better be. I was wounded pretty bad back there. He didn't even touch you. Can't you just let me pretend for a minute? School is pretty boring, man. To be honest, he is right. Having to sit here without Carrie is quite agonizing. A distressful experience, putting my entire state of mind into a flurry. Even though yesterday I sat alone in class, being here with this guy isn't much better at all. Are you listening, mate? Sorry, can you repeat yourself? I was saying that if they introduced lamb into the school's sandwiches... what if they introduced lamb into the school sandwiches? There's plenty of sheep in Wales, aren't there? I wouldn't know. I've never been. I'm not even Welsh. Neither have I, man. It's just a thought, you know? It seems this guy is pretty invested in sandwiches. He loves sandwiches. He lives for sandwiches. Sandwiches are his life force, just like Carrie is your life force. The bell rings to signal the end of lunch, causing me to feel more depressed as I know have to... No, that's not the right word. As I now have to face afternoon classes. Or lessons. What was it? Lessons or classes? Was it lessons or classes? It was lessons. Okay. But whilst listening to the mundane talk of my classmate, I decided to try again with Carrie. The idea is to walk her home, pretty bold in itself, but I know her for a fact she's not going to be compliant. She's not going to be compliant. Dragging her out by hand is one option, although the action seems really dodgy and disrespectful to her. In a way, it might show her how much effort I'll put into being there to support her. What could go wrong? She could slap you and be like, I don't like you like that, fuck off, go get cancer. I don't know. That classroom is filled with the uniform aura of apathy as it slowly drags on towards the final few minutes. Thinking back on my idea from earlier, I need to find a way to be able to get out before Carrie. It can't be guaranteed that her class will get let out late again, so I really don't want to miss her. Raising my hand, I eagerly wait for the teacher to notice. Asking to be excused for the restroom is undoubtedly the best way to be the first one out of the class. It's about 5 minutes until lesson ends, so there shouldn't really be a problem. Yes, Jaybird? Excuse me, miss. May I please be excused for a restroom break? Go ahead, Jaybird. It seems the teacher herself is quite apathetic towards her own lesson, setting me off in a tired and indifferent manner. Oh. I leave the classroom behind me, some classmates looking shocked after realizing my plan to get out of the class before them. Turning down the corridor, I walk slowly towards Carrie's classroom. This time, she's not getting away so easily. The bell rings to officially end everyone's school day. I've been waiting here for a few minutes, so in order to use up some time, I bought myself a drink. As people begin to walk down the corridor, I toss my can into the bin and continue to wait for Carrie's class to come through the corridors. Through the doors. Wait. I don't know what words I'm even saying. Through the doors. Fuck. I'm sorry. I'm messing up all these words. I'm sorry. Surprisingly, this time Carrie is one of the first people to get out of her class. Perhaps she wanted to prevent a repetition of the events of lunch, getting out early so she could avoid me. Unfortunately for her, though, as soon as the chance arises, I grab her by the hand and make my way down the corridor with her at a quick pace. Her trailing behind me with an extraordinary sense of embarrassment, ones which break new boundaries.
What are you doing?
Taking your hand and taking to a magical place. I'm walking you home.
What?
Confused, Carrie continues to stumble over her words as I take her with me down the corridor. Despite her being able to let go of my hand, she shows no restraint as she allows herself to be taken with me. As we move, I notice a few stares and smiles from various people from our year group. Even sounds of light-hearted laughter can be heard. Different to how Carrie was treated before, I can only assume that they find the events funny in a friendly manner.
Where are we going?
I just said I'm taking you home! What the fuck? Your house. I told you I'm walking you home, didn't I? In saying that, both of us are almost running as we pace towards the school's exit. Not a speed definable as walking, but I'm still taking her back to her house. Students move swiftly out of our way as we get outside and through the school gates onto the road, with a pair of us receiving the same odd looks and giggles as we finally break from the school ground. Fuck. I let up my grip of Carrie's hands since the entire action is still embarrassing. Still is embarrassing, more so the fact that running out of the school had caused us both to sweat lightly. I can trust Carrie not to run off now, so we both slow down into a brisk walk as I take her on the journey back to her house. So, did you manage to catch up with your work?
What are you talking about? Oh, that was...
You were lying. As a flustered Carrie walks behind me, as she tries her best to let out her words, the sight causes me to laugh, knowing that I've seen through her lie. It's this sort of experience that I had longed for. You're pretty cute. Saying that, Carrie ramps up her levels of befuddlement, causing me to lose myself in her adorable trance. I already told her the truth. I only told her the truth.
What? You really think so?
Really. Her face is ablaze with emotion as she looks towards me with a hard blush, filling with her hair as it entwines around her fingers.
Thank you.
She meekly clasps her right arm as we continue walking down the road and stay close to silence, neither of us deciding to continue conversation. The real fact is that Carrie still isn't feeling good inside. Trying to force her into a state of happiness would just make things worse. I'm fine with being able to come this far with her, walking down a street lit up by the afternoon sun. This is something I've always wanted to do with Carrie. Being there for her, being with her, it brings my feelings for her into question. Our steps are in sync as the two of us walk side by side down a street which is now quite familiar to me. Accompanying Carrie on the way home may have seemed like a brash thing to do, the idea itself established rather hastily. However, being here with her after spending yesterday in a state of worry gives me a sense of relief. The issues that caused this are still present, however, but showing Carrie that she doesn't have to go through it alone is enough of a reason for my actions. We find ourselves idling in front of her house, neither of us really wanting to start the traditional words of farewell. Carrie takes the lead, despite being rather reserved throughout the day. This is totally me and my boyfriend. when he used to walk me home, I'd always stall so he wouldn't leave. I'd be like, wait, no, don't leave just yet, no. And I just stand outside, hugging him for I don't know, for however long, 5 minutes. I'm like, I could stay here forever, and trying to stall so he didn't have to leave right away. It's funny. It was funny. One time we were out there for a half hour. It was fantastic.
Thank you. I'm sorry about earlier. I just needed some time alone to think. It's been hard recently.
It's alright, Carrie. Carrie is still bearing the weight of uncertainty as she faces the chance of having to leave everything and everyone she's known behind to move away. And from what her father had told me, the distance between her and what she cherishes would be quite extraordinary. Remember, Carrie, you have people who are there for you. Even if it's the two people she's likely to be leaving behind.
I know. You've been a great friend to me. That's why it's hard.
With Carrie saying that, the door to her house opens wide despite neither of us reaching out for the handle. Standing before us is Carrie's father, sporting a smile which I can only describe as uneasy. Both of us know the situation Carrie is in, and both of us are trying our hardest to deal with it. I thought I heard someone speaking outside. Come on in, J-Baird. You're more than welcome to stay for dinner. Mr. Airwood wastes no time trying to get me inside of his house. All I can assume is that he has something he wants to discuss with me. I can do more than guess what it is he wants to talk about. The startled response is coming straight from her. Carrie, still somehow shocked at her father's invitation, idles behind me as I step forward into her house. Are you coming inside, Carrie?
Yes?
It's strange that a man has to ask his own daughter if she's going to enter their own house, but it's not something I wouldn't expect happening with Carrie. Her actions are quite adorable. Dispelling that train of thought, I divert my attention back to reality, knowing that there's still a large uncertainty that hangs over us. As Mr. Airwood and I walk further in through the hall, Carrie stands behind and speaks out to us.
I need to put some things away upstairs. I'll come back down in a minute.
Rushing off quickly up the stairs, Carrie leaves her father and I alone in the hallway. Well, the two of us can still go through to the dining room. You want a beer? I know you're below the Japanese drinking age, but the laws are different in my house. I don't know what accent I'm doing anymore. It's just evolved into mush. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh yes, I would love a beer. Willingly accepting his offer, the two of us walk into the dining room, both of us knowing what's on the other's mind. Oh my god. Well guys, that's gonna be it for this episode of Sounds of Her Love. I know, it's just getting so juicy. We're about to take a beer and, whatever, but with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Sounds of Her Love and you would like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell. And remember, die safely. Bye-bye!